The screen flashes white as Solrock glows with the unmistakable blinding light of explosion. We are staring down the barrel of a 250 base power physical strike, modified by a choice band targeting both slots of our field. The damage range is an absolute death sentence for anything lacking a ghost typing or a dedicated physical defense EV spread. There is no dodging this outcome, only surviving the mathematics of the blast. This is the brutal reality of double battle mechanics in this specific arena. Tate and Liza do not play by the standard rules of engagement. Their entire strategy relies on trapping challengers in a crossfire of self-destruct patterns and devastating weather coverage. The AI controls the field with surgical precision, punishing any trainer who dares to bring a standard offensive sweep into Moss Deep City. The margin for error is exactly 0. The psychological weight of this encounter crushes countless runs before they even begin. In the unforgiving landscape of high-difficulty ROM hacks, this specific gym is widely considered the ultimate run killer. Every decision carries the permanent threat of loss. A missed calculation here does not mean a quick trip to the Pokémon Center. It means staring at a grayed-out sprite in the PC box and realizing dozens of hours of meticulous preparation have evaporated. Surviving requires a total paradigm shift. We must abandon the proactive damage dealer mindset that cleared the early routes. Victory here demands flawless defensive resource management and a complete understanding of how the opponent thinks. We are no longer fighting the Pokémon on the screen. We are fighting the AI targeting logic itself, manipulating its programmed desires to force it into making the exact moves we need it to make. Building a team for this specific moment demands agonizing compromises. Every slot in the party must serve a distinct, overlapping purpose. We need ground immunities to pivot around earthquake, dark typings to bait psychic attacks, and precise speed tiers to outpace their support cast. The EV spreads are calculated down to the single stat point, ensuring our defensive pivots survive the worst possible damage range from a sun-boosted flamethrower. But the math is fundamentally rigged against us, demanding a grim toll. Squeezing through this statistical gauntlet almost always requires a sacrificial lamb. You look at your roster, at the teammates who have survived gym after gym, and you make the cold calculation of who is most expendable. Sending a loyal partner into the arena with the explicit knowledge that they will not return is the heaviest burden a Nuzlocke trainer carries. The road to this tactical breakdown is paved with the ghosts of previous encounters. Emerald Kaizo transforms the entire Hoenn region into a relentless war of attrition. By the time we reach the island city, our roster is usually battered, depleted, and missing the exact counters we desperately need. The scarcity of viable encounters forces us into highly unorthodox team compositions, relying on overlooked species to fill massive defensive voids. Every lost teammate in the early game ripples forward, compounding the danger of this exact fight. If we lost our primary dark type to a random critical hit in Norman's gym, our entire strategy fails against Tate and Liza. That early death was not bad luck. It was a failure of managed risk that we are now paying for with interest. The consequences of the past dictate the brutal reality of our present. The battle begins and the harsh sunlight immediately scorches the field. Lunatone and Solrock hover menacingly, their stats artificially inflated to outspeed and overpower our entire front line. The sun does not just boost their fire coverage, it removes the charge turn for solar beam, turning their rock types into lethal threats against our water and ground pivots. The tactical board is set and the enemy holds all the dominant pieces. Our opening move relies entirely on AI manipulation. We lead with a Pokémon incredibly weak to psychic, deliberately dangling a target in front of the enemy. The AI cannot resist a guaranteed knockout. It locks in its targeting logic, firing a devastating mental strike at our vulnerable lead. But before the attack connects, we pivot, pulling our bait out and switching in a dark type that is completely immune to the incoming damage. This maneuver is a calculated risk balanced on the edge of a knife. If the AI detects a different kill on our other slot, or if a speed tie resolves in their favor, the entire house of cards collapses. We must account for every possible variable, including the 6.25% chance of a critical hit on the incoming attack. We do not pray for good RNG, we build EV spreads that survive the worst-case scenario. In the heat of this double battle, trying to heal is a fatal trap. Wasting a turn to restore HP surrenders the only currency that actually matters, which is momentum. The moment we stop applying pressure or manipulating their targeting, the AI regains control of the tempo. We must constantly pivot, constantly bait, and constantly trade our defensive resources just to maintain a fragile equilibrium on the field. The pivot sequence pushes our roster to the absolute breaking point. Our dark type absorbs the psychic, but now stands exposed to a sun-boosted signal beam. We are forced to cycle our team rapidly, switching from dark to flying to steel, desperately trying to stay one step ahead of the AI's relentless coverage. The red health bars flash rhythmically, a terrifying metronome counting down the seconds until our defensive core shatters. The inevitable breaking point arrives when the damage ranges finally catch up to us. A predicted move goes wide, or a secondary effect drops our special defense, and suddenly the math offers no escape. We make the hardest call in the game. We leave a beloved team member on the field to absorb a lethal blow, buying the free switch we need to safely bring in our primary attacker. The HP bar empties, and the silence is deafening. This brutal trade is the defining characteristic of the Emerald Kaizo experience. The game is designed to strip away your resources until you are forced to make these impossible choices. Surviving the region is not about keeping everyone alive, it is about spending your encounters like currency to purchase progress. The tactical breakdown of this specific gym reveals the underlying philosophy of the entire hack, where victory is always paid for in blood. The empty slot in our party serves as a grim anchor, grounding us in the reality of the stakes. There is no time to mourn the loss. The battle continues, and the AI immediately recalibrates its targeting logic to account for our new field position. The momentum has shifted slightly in our favor, purchased at the highest possible cost, and we must capitalize on this fleeting advantage before the enemy regains their footing. Solrock drops low on health, triggering the most dangerous phase of the encounter. The AI recognizes that its longevity is compromised and shifts its priority to maximum destruction. The self-destruct patterns are now live. We know explosion is coming. The damage formula dictates that nothing on our current field can survive the blast radius. We have exactly one turn to execute a flawless defensive countermeasure, or the run ends right here. We lock in a double protect, shielding both of our Pokémon as the Solrock detonates. This is the ultimate test of AI manipulation. If we predicted incorrectly, we have just wasted our defensive cooldowns and given their surviving partner a free turn to set up a calm mind. But the read is perfect. The screen violently shakes as the explosion washes over our energy barriers, dealing 0 damage and clearing the immediate threat. The smoke clears, but the adrenaline refuses to fade. Surviving the explosion is only half the battle. The lingering fear of what comes next grips the mind. We are staring down the back line of Tate and Liza's roster, knowing that their remaining Pokémon are just as meticulously crafted to dismantle our weakened team. Every remaining hit point is a precious commodity, and the statistical probability of a critical hit grows more terrifying with every passing turn. Claydol and Xatu enter the arena, bringing fresh layers of tactical complexity. Our defensive resource management is pushed beyond its limits. We have exhausted our primary baits, our protects are on cooldown, and our remaining team members are battered. We must scour the depths of our remaining tactical options, looking for any possible speed advantage or typing immunity to squeeze out just a few more turns of survival against this fresh assault. The bond forged between the surviving team members is forged in the fires of this exact desperation. They are battered, bruised, and hanging on by single digits of health. But they hold the line. The synergy of the team, crafted over dozens of hours of careful planning, finally pays off. They pivot seamlessly around earthquakes and psychic attacks, covering each other's weaknesses and executing the strategy with absolute uncompromising precision. We find the final opening in the enemy's armor, A calculated strike, backed by guaranteed damage ranges, connects with the opposing clay doll. The massive health bar drops to 0. There is no triumphant music in the trainer's mind, no celebratory cheering. There is only the cold, heavy relief of surviving a mathematical gauntlet that was explicitly designed to destroy us. The gym badge is secured, but the cost of the victory weighs heavily on the soul. Looking back at the PC box, the true toll of the battle becomes clear. The tactical breakdown of this encounter defines the harsh reality of our journey. We did not win through luck or overwhelming power. We survived through rigorous analysis, flawless execution, and the willingness to sacrifice our own to outmaneuver a merciless machine. This is the essence of the challenge, stripped of all its illusions. We step out of the gym and back into the wider world of Hoenn. The Elite Four looms on the distant horizon, promising even greater challenges and more devastating losses. But the shadow of Moss Deep City will follow us for the rest of the run. It stands as a permanent monument to the razor-thin margin between survival and total failure, a constant reminder that every step forward is a calculated risk. In the end, the analysis of AI manipulation and defensive resource management is what separates the veterans from the resets. We do not fear the mathematics of the game, we weaponize them. We turn the enemy's programming against itself, transforming their greatest strengths into fatal vulnerabilities. The fight against Tate and Liza is a masterclass in survival, a brutal testament to the fact that in the world of high-stakes Nuzlockes, knowledge is the only weapon that truly matters.